Hey everybody.
Hi.
It's been a while since we've given our last update, so we wanted to give you a little bit of a snapshot of what's been going on in our lives last couple months, I guess. So a lot has been happening, but one practical thing that we're very thankful for is it is a lot cooler right now in Tokyo.
Yes.
The summer has gone. It was pretty oppressive this year. It came a little bit earlier than usual, and it was a little hotter than usual. So we were happy to finally be past all of the hot and humid weather. So nowadays we sleep with the windows open, keep the windows open most days, and enjoy the much cooler weather. So we are very thankful for that.
Yes.
A lot has been happening in our language learning process. We actually recently took what is called a snapshot, and basically what that is it's a conversation recorded and sent off to another agency that evaluates our progress in a lot of different areas, and they give us an assessment on how we're doing in our language. And so we got the results back from our first one that we did last month, and right now we're testing at an intermediate low level. So for us, that's where we're supposed to be. So we're thankful for that. Thankful for the school that we're able to go to on a regular basis that helps us learn and have a lot of opportunities to speak in the classroom as well. And then for the other Japanese families and friends that we've been able to make so far since living here, just being able to talk with them and utilize the Japanese and see even the progress that we've made in that time that we've been here so far. It's been
Yeah.
encouraging, and still some days are pretty discouraging whenever they don't go so well either.
Yes, for sure. And just to give you a gauge, the our company expects us to reach advanced low before we come back and visit in the States. And so that's a way that you can be praying, is just that we continue to press on and make progress. It could be a while before we reach that level. It's not probably going to happen super quickly. But just pray that we will be faithful to study, to use our Japanese out in the community, to practice as much as possible, and that ultimately God honors that and that we make progress even quicker than we anticipate. We would really love that. Another thing, we've been here 6 months now. I think we feel fairly settled now. It doesn't feel like the honeymoon phase anymore. Things are not quite as new or novel anymore, but we do feel more at home. We also really miss a lot of things about America, especially during this time of year. I really miss the things about fall that we do in America. I think here in Japan, pumpkins are not very popular, but if they were, it would be unheard of to put one on the ground outside your door, because you do not put things on the ground, especially things that are food. And so there's just no like decorating, like in the States. There's no trick or treating. There aren't pumpkin patches or corn mazes. It's just different. And so just learning to be grateful for the differences and to see them not as bad things necessarily, but just as, how can we find new things to enjoy during this season in the place that God has us. Another thing is about our licenses.
Yeah. Recently we got our Japanese driver's licenses, and so we're very thankful for that. We have not been provisioned a car, and probably won't be for a little while. But what that does give us the ability to do is to borrow some cars, maybe from our coworkers, to travel or to go do errands that maybe a car would be maybe more appropriate for.
Like Costco.
Right. And if we go on vacation somewhere, we're able to rent cars now and travel that way. Just make it a little bit more convenient. But we're thankful to be Hoosiers because Indiana has a partnership with the Japanese government to allow us to opt out of the driving skills test, and so we only had to take a 10-question written test. So we're very thankful for that partnership, because otherwise the driving test is kind of notoriously difficult.
Hard.
So
many people take it multiple times.
That's
and right now I think it's 6 months out that they're scheduling. So our coworkers that are trying to get their licenses don't even have the opportunity to get them for another 6 months. So that's another really big way that God really has provided for us, even without us really asking.
So we're very thankful for that. And an update about Eliana. Eliana is doing really well in her school. Recently, actually yesterday, she had what's called Undokai, which is a kind of a sports day program that she did with the rest of her classmates. And so we went on Saturday with the other parents of the children in her class and watched them perform a little bit of a routine that they had been working on. And then Melissa had the opportunity to participate with one of those dancing activities. So Melissa had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Eliana really enjoyed it. And so that's just kind of a little bit of a snapshot of how much she's really growing and enjoying the learning experience in the Japanese school system. Not every day is great. Some days she definitely reminds us that she misses America. She wants to go back and return and maybe go back to her American school. But we remind her that often God calls us to do hard things. And whether you're 4 years old or in your 30s, God is calling us all to do hard things. And sometimes that's just a really challenging thing to deal with each day. But a lot of days God gives us grace and helps us get through those things and helps her process it. So we're thankful for that and thankful for the opportunity to help teach her about the Lord.
Finally, it is hard with full-time language learning, but we are just trying to forge deeper friendships with our neighbors and with Japanese friends. And so you can lift that up to the Lord in prayer that we would have the time and energy to be able to invest in those relationships. We were able to have our neighbors from Hong Kong over a few weekends ago, and one of my neighbors actually helped with my snapshot conversation recording. She used to be a Japanese teacher, and she is now an empty nester, and they really love Eliana. And so that's been really cool, just to be able to have good relationships with our neighbors. And then with the families that we are in contact with, sometimes we try to get with them once a month on the weekend at the park or at our house or for a meal. Let the kids hang out together, and the adults, we try to converse in Japanese. And also just look for bridges to the gospel and try to share even small things, small truths about scripture and Jesus with them. And so you can definitely keep that in your prayers. It can feel emotionally taxing when we have studied a language for 30 or 40 hours in the week, to then on top of that get together with people. It is sometimes very exhausting. So just pray that we will function in the strength and power that God provides, and that we will look to Him to be all that we need for each day.
Yeah. And one final prayer request I would ask for me in particular is the church that we have been attending for the last little while. The pastor is a good friend of ours, Kwano Sensei, and he recently asked if I would be willing to preach on one of their Sunday services, and not preach in English, preach in Japanese. So that is a very daunting thing to think about at this point, but I am excited for the opportunity to do that. And he's more than willing to help and give a lot of instruction and feedback and all that process. So I'm very happy to have that opportunity. But in the meantime, there's just a lot that has to happen between now and then when that has to be delivered. So I would appreciate your prayers as I prepare and write and translate and think about how to share well across cultures and languages. So
and that'll be in December.
That'll be in December, yeah.
Well, that's our update for today. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments, and of course we will read those and do our best to respond. We are grateful for you and for your partnership with us and for your prayers for us. We need them ever so much. So thank you for being faithful on that end, so that we can be faithful over here. We're grateful for you.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.